It was all square in the Portmore derby. Molynes was blitzed by a rampant Mount Pleasant, and Tivoli Guns almost had their home party spoiled by the Maroons. But we start one place and one place only, and that's at the Anthony Spalding Complex, where the latest in Classico was having me going local. This is Match Week 25 review show. Yes, people, welcome back to JPL Fun, and it's another crazy match week in the JPL and a return from the international break. And of course, we got to start one place as promised, and that's in the jungle, where the Arnett was taking on their arch rival Waterhouse. In terms of the starting lineup for the home team, Arnett make at least 3 changes to their lineup. Newcomer from Dunbeholden, Ricardo Thomas, get a start at right back. Kimani Harbour makes a return to the starting 11. And Shane Watson will partner Joel Jones at centre back. As for Waterhouse, they made numerous changes of their own. There's no Denari Thomas or Andrea Fletcher in the team, but youngsters Chris Paul and Dylan John get their debut shot in the starting lineup. So when the game started, Arnett as usual started on the front foot, going very direct, but it didn't take long before Waterhouse started to take control of the ball and was now basically camping out in Arnett's side of the field. And while they didn't necessarily test the ball in goal, they made things uncomfortable for the Arnett back line. But despite all of that, it would be Arnett that get the first crack at goal. And the ball landed right here for Harbour on the volley, but his shot went too high and over the bar. Waterhouse was unperturbed. They came back down the other end and finally get their own shot on target with a weak effort here by Bygrave. But he will do much better with a header moments later. From a corner, the ball was placed near to the penalty spot. Bygrave launched his highest and almost with his back towards the goal, get a good decent header and it went into the back of the net. 1-0 to Waterhouse. I could say on the run of play, they probably deserved that one. But maybe they were celebrating a little bit too much, because literally moments after that, straight up the other end, some good hard work by Harbour once again saw the ball floated in from the left. Waterhouse didn't do exactly well enough to get it away. Kelson got it in back into the danger zone, and Warner Brown got just ahead of Paul and draw the penalty. O'Shea Nation pointed to the spot, and when you look at the replay carefully, you could say you understand why. Warner Brown, who didn't have the greatest international break over the weekend, did well to tuck it away for his 14th of the season, and now Arnett are on level once again. Now after that, the game went into what you would call a tactical cancellation, as Arnett will have times where they do drop into a mid-block and invite Waterhouse to come at them, and the Waterhouse will do the same and invite Arnett to come at them, with each team moving the ball too slow to break down each other's defense. And thus, the first half will end with both of them on 1-1. Second half though, Arnett makes some adjustment and he brought on Faber Reed to partner Warner Brown up front. I seemed immediately from the kickoff it would almost work, as they came out swinging from the referee's whistle. But Waterhouse will get their best chance to take the lead early in the second half. Some great work by Dylan on the left hand side, saw him squaring up Ramon Shepherd, and then when he got past him, he laid it on a platter for Martin Davis, who managed to somehow sky it over the bar. A big let off there for the junglist, and Martin Davis might rule that miss. And that's how he will be feeling roughly around the 55th minute, where some very sloppy play by the Waterhouse defense allowed Jaheim Thomas wiggle himself free at the top of the 18 and fire a good low shot that somehow get past Wilson and into the back of the net. 2-1, and the junglers take the lead, and it was Firehouse's own doing. After that, we had 2 moments of controversy to basically get through. Right here, our boy was taken down into the box, and while it looked like he was practicing his diving in our pool, replay showed that there were indeed some contact, but no penalty was given. Then, not moments after that, the new Belgian midfielder for Waterhouse, Omani Leacock, was away in midfield and was brought down by Shivani Willis in the middle of the park. No foul was given, and Shivani Willis, who was already on a yellow card, seemed that he got lucky to escape a second one. But Waterhouse shrugged that off and keep plugging away. They brought on Javian Bryan to partner Bygrave to try to get something out of the game. He helped led to this free kick that almost caught Wall out on his near post, but his best contribution was some moments later after that. Great ball here by Shamari Dallas in behind the back line. Javian Bryan was made a good run, steady himself, and then get the shot past Wall into the back of the net. 2-2, and Javian Bryan seemed to just have a knack of scoring here in the jungle. And now everybody here at Anthony Spalding Complex is felt that there was another goal in the game, and majority of them would have hoped it came from the men in red and black. Well, it happened at the 88th minute. Shantamai Taylor was a substitute at this point, and he was played in on the left hand channel, and he saw the unrushed Wilson coming out of his goal, but he managed to tuck it past him and into the back of the net. A clear winner for the junglist, and Taylor seemed he just has a liking, and scoring against this Waterhouse team. 3-2, and Arnett has to manage out the last 5 minutes to see out the game out. Well, they kind of struggled with that, and there was a last big chance here for Waterhouse right at the end, but they couldn't manage to get past wall once more, and the game would finally be blown off, with the Junglers winning a crazy El Clasico 3-2. So it was another exhilarating game involving Arnett, but how was the game in terms of stats? Well, Arnett had 51% of possession compared to 49% from Waterhouse. Arnett only managed 9 total shots in the game compared to 11 from Waterhouse. 4 were on target for the Junglers, 6 were on target for the Firehouse Nation, 53 dangerous attacks for Arnett, and 62 dangerous attacks for Waterhouse. The home team managed 1 corner, while Waterhouse managed 3 corners in return. Junglers first, believe it or not, is one of the poor performances all season long. They really didn't show much in that first half, and while they got a little bit better in the second half, they still had been playing much better than that throughout the entire season. But they somehow find a way to dig out 3 points, and that's just a sign of a champion team. While Waterhouse, this is one of their better performances so far in 2025, but yet they come away with nothing from it, and they just have to keep going again. But anyway, for now, it finishes on Guns 3, Waterhouse 2. So we'll be sticking in the jungle for our next match, another good match, as Cavalier welcome the visit on Montego Bay Utd. In terms of the starting lineup for the Duncan Destroyers, Joe McClary and Shad Milan are both in the starting lineup, but the biggest news for Cavalier fans was that Dwayne Busy Atkinson was fit enough to be on the bench. While Montego Bay United only saw 2 major changes for their squad as well. Brazilian John Claudio Ferreira get another start, and Jordan Brito also get a rare start in the back line. No, it was a bit of a slower start to this game compared to the El Clasico, but Cavalier looked like they were up for the fight and was looking to press the tempo going against their opponents. Molynes was looking to basically try attack from out wide as the midfield looked a bit compact, and it basically led to both teams having a big difficulty to get any of their shots in the first half on target. Cavalier was trying their best from both one side, but all their shots were going either wide or over the bar, while Molynes had a decent chance here where the ball was coming from the right, play back into the middle of the box by Hospitales, but on the swivel and turn, they came close to beating Barclay, but no dice. The game would just continue at a steady rhythm with both teams looking to cancel out each other in midfield, before Molynes drew some good work by John Claudio Ferreira, led the charge down the right hand side to unleash Gordon, who would try to place a low square into the box. King intercepted, but the ball trickled out perfectly for the top of the 18-yard box to Deborah McKenzie, who lashed a laser beam of a shot past Barclay and into the back of the net. 1-0, and it was Molynes' first shot on target, and they managed to take the lead. Cavalier would try their best to go direct to try to get something going in the opposite direction, but Stein was an isolated figure in centre forward, and Calvin wasn't getting the best of services down the flank. Molynes was quite content with the 1-0 lead, and he would go into the halftime break just like that. At halftime break, Rudolph's speed brought on Dwayne Atkinson for a return to the pitch to try to get a spark in the attack, and he did his best. He helped set up a big chance here for Cavalier, where he laid the ball out to the right hand side, the square was floated in, and Stein, despite timing his run, couldn't get enough purchase on the header to have it steer towards target. In response to this new tactics by Cavalier, Montego Bay went into a more reserved shell and was looking more to soak up the pressure in the second half than taking the fight to Cavalier. A tactic that is always a bit risky, especially against a Cavalier team who always seem to find a goal out of nowhere. And would you believe it? They will manage to do so once again. From a corner, they work it short before a good square was played into the box, and this time, Shaquille Stein would not make a mistake and get enough on his header and steer past Inel and into the back of the net. 1-1, and Molynes only had themselves to blame that they might leave here with only 1 point. But they almost left the jungle with 0, as moments after that, with the last kick of the game, a dangerous ball was played in, but Cavalier just couldn't manage to get a toe on it and get it into the back of the net. And that would be the last kick of the game, and it would be an honest even between Cavalier and Montego Bay. So, not the most exciting football played in the jungle on the night, of course, but how was the game in terms of numbers? Well, Cavalier dominated possession, especially in that second half. They have 55% of it all, compared to Montego Bay's 45%. Cavalier managed to have 10 total shots in the game compared to Molynes' 9. 3 on target for Cavalier, 1 on target for Montego Bay. 56 dangerous attacks for Cavalier, 47 dangerous attacks for Molynes, and 2 corners to Cavalier while 3 corners to Montego Bay United. Alright, let's start with Cavalier on this one. Well, they're not looking their best at all, they're not looking the sharpest, and with a looming big match against a possible Messi and Inter Miami coming around the corner, you want them firing on all cylinders as soon as possible. While Mobe, I felt they should have done better to get more to this game. Sure, they didn't play the greatest football in the first half, but after taking the lead, you'd want them to come up more positive in that second half. Nonetheless, they still get a point on the road and they will try to take that going forward. So once again, it finishes Cavalier 1, Montego Bay Utd 1. If you thought the El Clasico was crazy, well, nobody was prepared for what's going to happen at the Waterhouse Stadium when Molynes was hosting Mount Pleasant. In terms of the starting lineup for Molynes, they had two major changes to the squad. Captain Sergey Ferguson was out and Stefan Johnson come into the back line, and Nick Murray also got a rare start in the starting 11 as he looks to add some punch to the attack. As for Mount Pleasant, a lot of their players represented Jamaica over the international weekend, so it's no surprise they made some changes. Cummins was out of the back line, so Odeem Pennycook comes in for a rare start, and there was also the first start in the starting 11 for returning midfielder Alwyn Harvey. No, I stated that this game was crazy. You would have never believed so based on just the first 10 minutes. It was a very slow and prodding opening to the game, as both teams was looking to try to find their feet and wasn't necessarily interested in going forward. But one corner changed all of that in the 14th minute. The ball floated in from Molynes, and at the back post all alone was Rashawn Livingston, who knocked it home and gave Molynes a 1-0 lead. But that seemed to finally wake up Mount Pleasant and got them to put on their shooting boots as they now started to quicken their play, and then thanks to a good square into the box, Bradford was able to rise highest and knock home the equalizer to put Mount Pleasant on equal terms in the 28th minute. After that, it was all Mount Pleasant as they dominated the ball and was come at Molynes again, but even they could say they were a bit fortunate or they got the go-ahead goal. What seemed like a shot from a far distance out landed at the feet of Kimoni Bailey, who did some quick feet to fire off a good left-footed shot and into the back of the net. 2-1, and Mount Pleasant wasn't finished yet as just 3 minutes later, a clumsy tackle brought out Bradford in the box and Nicholas Nelson stood up to tuck away to give them 3-1 lead before the half. But Molynes will do just enough to peg them back. They got a penalty of their own, and Peter McGregor was the one to stand up and take it and carry it to 3-2 right before the halftime whistle. Second half though, Mount Pleasant wasted no time to get their 2-goal advantage in the 54th minute when it was an excellent combination played on the left hand side between Nelson and Bradford, so Bradford got his second of the game and restored their 2-goal advantage. After this though, Mount Pleasant seemed to take the foot off the gas a little bit as the play was a bit stifled in midfield and there was a number of changes from both teams. But some good build-up play by Mount Pleasant again, so Sule McCullough got in and finished off his chance to bring the scoreline now at 5-2. Things got back to worse for Molynes. Tariq Wilson will pick up his second yellow card in the 81st minute to be ejected out of the game, and that helped Mount Pleasant to put a rubber stamp on this match, where they had the young academy player Nugent making his debut come onto the pitch to assist Alex Marshall to get his first goal of the day and Mount Pleasant 6 in the 88th minute. The whistle never took long to blow after that, and Molynes was put out of their misery at 6-2. So, a game clearly dominated by Mount Pleasant, but how does the stats reflect the game? Well, Molynes had 36% of possession as they were completely dominated by Mount Pleasant 64. Molynes only managed 6 total shots in the game. Mount Pleasant had 10 better with 16 total shots. But Molynes was surprisingly accurate, all 6 of their shots on target compared to 7 from Mount Pleasant. 46 dangerous attacks for Molynes, 75 dangerous attacks for Mount Pleasant, 6 corners to the home team and 3 corners to the away team. Alright, let me start with Molynes right here. I did dare them after what happened last time when they went to Draxall that they went in a reserve shell, and I wanted them to play their game and take the attack to Mount Pleasant. But this game is probably evident that no matter what they try, they're simply no match for the team from St. Anne. As for Mount Pleasant themselves, well, there's nothing more you can ask for. Sure, they started slowly. This was a good response to their first loss in 13 matches against Harbour last time out. So once again, the crazy scoreline reads Molynes 2, Mount Pleasant 6. Now we move all the way down to Clarendon for a big relegation 6-pointer as Vere was hosting fellow relegation fighters Harbour. In terms of the starting lineup for Vere, Michael Forbes and Denzel McKenzie returned from their international trials to come into the starting 11, and there was also a rare start for Sherman Phillips into the team. As for Harbour, well, no surprise, they remain unchanged from the squad that was so impressive in their victory over Mount Pleasant last time out. Okay, as for full details of this game, it's a bit scarce, so I'll do my best with what little reports I got on the match to tell you how the game went. According to report, the game was a very chippy and physical affair in the opening 30 minutes that saw both teams receiving a yellow card very early, Tariq McGee in the 6th minute and Luca Kong in the 36th. Our view seemed that they had more possession and seemed the best to carve up an opening in the attack, while Vere seemed to be more reserved and was looking to spring their counters. But that tactic seemed to work for the men in green after Harbour tried to build up through the middle and lost the ball. A sweeping pass was played long for Demar Whitfield, who did well to get his square off early and find Atkinson in the box to tuck it home to give the home team a big lead right before the halftime break. Harbour though, according to reports again, came on swinging in the second half and again did not just hold onto the ball more, but was trying to go more direct. One of those direct passes ended up working so well that it freed up Murray to run in behind the back line, who did well to come in at the right angle and fire his shot past Ricardo White in the Vere goal and into the back of the net. Harbour back on parity, and we're hoping to get the go-ahead goal to get all 3 points. But from there, it seemed that both teams managed to cancel each other, as there was not much reports of any major chances after that for either side, and eventually the whistle be blown and call the game off at 1-1 apiece. So it ended up being a draw that no team wanted. But how was the game in terms of stats? Well, this time we don't have the possession numbers for you guys, but we do know that Vere Phoenix United only managed 4 total shots in the game compared to 7 for Harbour. Vere only managed 2 of those 4 on target compared to 3 by Harbour. 3 corners from Vere, 7 to Harbour, 1 yellow card apiece and no red cards. Again, as I said, not much footage on the game or reports, so it's hard to really judge both teams purely on numbers and the end result. But all I can say, this was a big chance for both teams to get a massive 3 points to start the climb away from the relegation zone. This was especially a bad result for Harbour, who will face Arnett and Montego Bay in their next 2 fixtures. But anyway, once more from Clarendon, it finishes Vere Phoenix United 1, Harbour 1. Now we turn back the clock and head back to Wednesday as Tivoli, for their first match at the famous Edward Seaga complex in a couple of years, welcomed Chapelton Maroons. In terms of the starting lineup for the home team, Tivoli rolled out a change in goal as Nicholas Clark comes in between the sticks. Alton Lewis kept his spot in the starting 11, as well as Nathan Thomas also returned to the starting 11 in the middle of the field. Also, Chapelton Maroons, Javel Plunkett continues to be in goal for the injured Prince Daniel Smith. Impressive Daniel Watson kept his spot on the left wing, and it will be a front 2 of Javel Ellis and Leon Williams this time out. Now, when the game kicked off, it was clear that Tivoli wanted to make an impression returning in front of their own fans and practically dominated the ball in the first opening 20 minutes. They managed to carve up some decent half chances, but they did not do enough to get the opening goal in the match. Chapelton had to wait all the way to basically the 25th minute to basically dominate the ball and get into their own passing groove, and from there they managed to squeak out some dangerous opportunities, but again nothing to really test Clark in goal. Both teams just jostled for position in midfield after that, and it seemed we were headed into the break with no goals on the board until in the 45th minute a penalty was given to the Maroons. Captain Nathaniel Howe would step up and take it, and he tucked away to give Maroons a big lead here at the Edward Seaga complex. Tivoli would have been extremely disappointed if they went into the halftime break 1-0 down. Someone would find a spectacular equalizer moments before the halftime whistle. John Williams found himself practicing his juggling right outside the 18-yard box before unleashing a big-time volley that went past Plunkett and into the back of the net. Another goal of the season contender, and Tivoli goes into the break leveled. But they would want the 3 points here at home, and they came out in the second half hunting as best as they could as they dominated majority of the second 45 and created some decent openings on goal, but most of their shots just simply didn't go on target. Chapelton seemed more reserved in that second half and were just facing piles of pressure from the men in Tangerine, but they did just enough to finally see out all 90 minutes and get themselves a point. The game would end 1-1, and Tivoli will rue their missed chances to get their first win here at Edward Seaga complex. So it wasn't the big homecoming Tivoli was hoping for, but how was the game towards the start? Tivoli managed to have 48% of possession compared to 52% from Chapelton Maroons. But this is where the disparity will happen. Tivoli managed to have 11 total shots in the game compared to 4 from Chapelton Maroons. 3 of their 11 were on target, and that's basically where the problems were for the home team. 1 was on target for Chapelton Maroons. 76 dangerous attacks to Tivoli, 68 dangerous attacks to Chapelton Maroons, 4 corners for the home team and 3 corners for the Maroons. Alright, to start with the home side, it was a good thing that they were able to play again here at their own field, and while they did well to have more of the shots in the game, the fact that they did not test Plunkett enough in goal is a continuous issue they're having in the attack. After Chapelton, well, not the greatest game they had, but they fought as a team and managed to get a point on the road. It finishes Tivoli Gardens 1, Chapelton Maroons 1. So we leave Tivoli and head all the way to Effortsville to check on another Clarion team in Molynes. They were hosting high-flying Racing United. In terms of the starting lineup for Molynes, they had 3 changes to the squad. First in goal, Harrison is out, Glenn Rice Samuel is in, Afiwa Chambers is out along with Anderson, and in their places Lincoln Thompson and Kareem Bryan. As for Racing United, the big story of course is that there is no Ronaldo Biggs, who picked up an injury on international duty. Andre Clennon got his first start for his new club against his old club, and Odell Brown also made his first start in the team. So now when the game started, it's no surprise that Racing coming on the back of 4 victories in a row, settled much faster on the ball and in possession. But the game changed course very early after the occurrence of a strange goal, as a good build-up play on the right-hand side by Molynes saw the ball cross into the box. The Racing defender had all the time in the world to deal with it, but he accidentally spun the ball backwards and hit his own crossbar. But unlucky for him, informed Stephen Barnett was on hand to tuck it away and give Molynes a 1-0 lead. Now, in all fairness to that Racing United defender, the field was a bit dry and a bit bumpy, so you could probably understand that can happen to anyone. Nonetheless, the Lions lead at home. We didn't exactly get an immediate response from Racing after that either, as Molynes was doing well to now back down their play in midfield before they create another great chance for themselves to get a second, but another ball from the right hand side saw the ball placed into the box, but they managed to slide over the bar. That might be a crucial miss for the Lions. The general play would equal out after that, as both teams were just jostling for position in midfield and was trying their best to try equal out some half chances on opposite ends. Nothing truly really testing for each keeper, as the first half would come to a close with the Lions leading 1-0. But Molynes should know that Racing are a much better team in second half of matches, and they started off the second half very bright, coming down from the left hand side and playing a good ball into the box where Samuel was caught in a spot of butter, but along with he and his defenders did enough to repel Racing out of the goal. Then the Lions went on the attack with straight down the other end and create a chance of their own before Racing was able to retaliate one more time, but yet they still couldn't find their equalizer. The game will go into a familiar pattern of what was seen in the first half after this, as the run-up play was once again back down in midfield, with the Lions looking fairly comfortable. But that all changed in the 64th minute. The Molynes had a deep free kick in the Racing half. They played the ball into the box and saw it cleared, but then Racing were off and going on the counter and went straight up the middle of the pitch in a 2 versus 1 situation. It prompted Glenn Rice Samuel to race off his line and out of his box to try to do something about it, but he only managed to take down the Racing attacker just outside his box and draw the foul from the referee. And of course, being literally the last line of defense, the red card was shown and Samuels was now out. The Lions now down to 10 men. Racing didn't do much with that free kick, but it did spur them on to try control possession and now come at Molynes in waves. But the Lions were doing fairly well defensively, keeping Racing to basically mostly shots from out wide and dealt with any crosses into the box fairly comfortably. Racing, of course, without Biggs, was just lacking that cutting edge and was just probably wondering where that equalizer would come from. But they found it in the 83rd minute with a free kick from 40 yards out was played in the box around the penalty area, and DeAndre Johnson raised highest to knock the ball into the back of the net and finally an equalizer for Racing United. 1-1, and now all momentum are with the men from St. Catherine. In fact, they were probably cursing their luck that they did not, moments right after that, a good shot right here at the top of the D seemed that it was destined for the lower left corner, but Harrison did well to get down low and snuff out the chance. The Lions just barely hanging on at this moment, but that would be the last major chance for any team to find a winner, as they would both cancel each other out from there on out until the final whistle called a close to the game and a point apiece. So it was a decent game, but a bit disappointed for the home team who needed 3 points. How was the game in terms of stats? While Molynes had 48% of possession compared to 52% by Racing United. Molynes managed to have 10 total shots in the game. Majority of those came in the first half, compared to 14 by Racing United, who was looking to take advantage of being a man up in the second half. Molynes had 5 shots on target, compared to Racing's 4. Molynes managed to have 41 dangerous attacks, compared to 72 by Racing United. 5 corners to Molynes and 2 corners to Racing United. Okay, let's begin with Racing United real quick. Not their best game. Clearly, they were on form after 4 games in a row, and the international weekend probably come at the worst time. But without Ronaldo Biggs and not playing their best, they should be fairly happy that they got a point on the road. While Molynes, again, they take the lead. Again, they play decent football, but again, they were denied 3 points. But for now, it finishes Molynes 1, Racing United 1. So we move from Clarendon to go all the way to Portmore for another installment of the Portmore Derby. As for the starting lineup, Portmore made 2 major changes from the squad from last time out. Reggae boy Romeo Guthrie was back in the team along with Javier Brown, who were both rested in Portmore's last game. In terms of Dunbeholden, they only made 1 major change, and that's in midfield, as Captain Favour McCarthy is back in the middle and he replaced Nakil Wright. Otherwise, it's as you were for the rest of the starting lineup. No, it was a good, decent start by Portmore at the start of the whistle. They decided to come down primarily down the right hand side, largely through the likes of Bembo, who did well to place a good low cross across the 6-yard box, and somehow Ted Bryan didn't get his feet together to tap it home. But moments after that, they will come down the right again. Zimidis did well to get past his man here and place a good ball into the box. It fell to Guthrie on the half volley, but he lashed it over the bar and away for safety. But definitely Portmore started the better. But Dunbeholden eventually found their feet and now started to control a spell of possession. They were doing well to just knock it around the park and decided to let some of the air out of the game. Nothing much was happening for basically 10 minutes until Binns make a big mistake right here, gave the ball away. Guthrie find Bembo, and Bembo tried to curl it with the outside of his right foot, just got it past the upright. Very close, but still 0-0. Then you would think Dunbeholden will kind of learn from that mistake, but no, they made another mistake when they gave the ball away again at the top of the 18-yard box. And once again, he will find Bembo for another look at goal, but this time he hit it over the bar. Portmore really should have taken at least one of these chances. But that would have been the last one though, as they head into halftime 0-0. Second half though, they started just as bright as they did in the first half, but this time their first attack came down the left. Some good strong work here by Ted Bryan, got him away the left hand channel. He tried to play that hard low cross into the box. It hit Bin's foot. It almost spun into the back of the net. But Portmore did well to keep the attack live though. I led to Robinson unleashing a good shot at target, but he only managed to side netting. Dunbeholden still looking a bit dangerously. But that's where Roger Smith will take over and be the brightest spark for his team going forward. He will get their first shot on target before he found a decent sighter on goal again, but his curling effort was tucked out of the air by Benjamin Williams for a comfortable save. Although he didn't feel as comfortable after the save, as it seemed that he landed badly and he had to be substituted right after that. So Russell would come in for Portmore as they look to try to find the opening goal down the other end. Some good work again by Benjamin, see the ball floated over to the left hand side, and then Robinson comes in on the right and then crack a decent shot, but it was saved fairly comfortably by David Hyatt. Roger Smith again will lead the attack on the opposite direction not long after that, but his good shot missed the target. But Dunbeholden will keep on fighting and will probably get the last great chance of the game. Roger Smith again will cause trouble for Portmore. A great ball played in at the top of the D for Powell, who decided to take the lob early and beat Russell but not beat the crossbar. That would be the last major chance for any team as the game will peter out in a disappointed 0-0. So the last time these two faced each other, we got a thrilling 3-3. It didn't happen here, but how was the game in terms of stats? Well, Portmore had 8 total shots in the game compared to 12 from Dunbeholden, but only 1 were on target for the host team compared to 2 on target for Dunbeholden. They were even on the score sheet of course, and they were also even in possession, as well as there were 6 corners for the host team and 4 corners for Dunbeholden. No red cards in the game, but 2 yellow cards for Portmore, 3 for Dunbeholden. Yes, let me start with Portmore first. Again, their issue of just finding a consistent goal scorer is causing them to lose points. While Dunbeholden, their defensive renaissance under new coach Harold Thomas continues, they just look way more solid with a back 5
and will probably feel like slightly unlucky they didn't even get 3 points out of this game. Once again, it finishes Portmore 0, Dunbeholden 0.
Alright, so that's match week 25, but before we wrap up, let's look at the table real quick. Mount Pleasant remains firmly in first with 55 points from 23 matches. Arnett Guns are still in second with 48. Mobe kept their third place secure with 45 points. Portmore is in fourth with 39. Cavalier in fifth with 38. And Waterhouse closed off the top 6 with 34 points. Racing though is not far behind, they are on 29 points in 7th. Tivoli missed out a big chance to escape Racing on 28 points. Dunbeholden are looking much better with 23 points in 9th spot. Molynes slide on the table a bit with 23 points as well into 10th. Chapelton still too close for safety with 21 points in 11th spot. Harbour for now is above the relegation zone with 20 points in 12th. Vere have some work to do with 18 points in the 13th spot, and Molynes also have a massive job on their hands with just 15 points at the basement. Also, this is a double week, so I have to give you guys the fixtures that's coming up this weekend. There is a massive double header happening at Harbour Utd Stadium. At 1 p.m, Molynes will be taking on Cavalier. At 3:15, Harbour will be hosting Arnett Gardens. There's a Clarendon derby happening in Arnett, while Chapelton welcome Vere Phoenix United. Racing United will host another Portmore derby at Fernita Park against Portmore United, and Dunbeholden will also host a match in Portmore as they welcome the visit of Waterhouse. The Monday night doubleheader will be at Catching Hall. Mount Pleasant will take on Molynes in the first game, and the home team Mobe will welcome Tivoli Guns. But anyway guys, this is all right here at this latest match week review show. Thank you all for watching, and please like, subscribe and share as we look to keep you all up to date on everything in the JPL leading up to the final in May. Otherwise, for great JPL content, you're already at the right place. JPL Fun. YouTube, pick up yourself.